Hello, my name is Paul Watson. I wanted to discuss the Establishment Clause, a section of the First Amendment of the Constitution of the United States. The Establishment Clause states, and I quote, "Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof," unquote. Adopted on the 15th of December, 1791, the Establishment Clause represented the work of proponents to religious freedom throughout the Great Awakening and founding of the United States. Historians credit Thomas Jefferson with the framework of the Establishment Clause, basing it off the Virginia Statute for Religious Freedom. As the Library of Virginia explains, Jefferson originally drafted the statute in 1777 as the Bill for Establishing Religious Freedom, and it was introduced into the Virginia General Assembly on June 12, 1779, but it did not pass. In 1786, James Madison, a close friend of Jefferson's, reintroduced the bill, and on January 16th, 1786, it passed. On January 1st, 1802, Thomas Jefferson wrote to the Danbury Baptist Association, where Jefferson quotes the Establishment Clause, followed by a phrase that many are familiar with today, as it was used in the basis of arguments for and against the Establishment Clause in courts. In the letter, Jefferson wrote that the legislature should make no law respecting the establishment of religion or the free exercise thereof, thus building a wall of separation between church and state. And that is where is what we hear today a lot, the separation between church and state. It is a big argument that we often hear from opponents of freedom of religion. The separation of church and state progressively became a highly debated issue since the Civil Rights era, and many argue against the attempt to place this statement within the Establishment Clause. Several cases have been argued within the last 15 years in an attempt to attack religious establishment. For instance, in the case of Van Orton versus Perry, the plaintiff argued that a monument of the Ten Commandments placed on his Texas state government grounds violated the First Amendment's Establishment Clause. The case went to the Supreme Court, where the court concluded that under the Establishment Clause, I quote, "The principle that governmental intervention in religious matters can itself endanger religious freedom requires that the court neither abdicate its responsibility to maintain a division between church and state nor evince a hostility toward religion," unquote. This and other cases stand as examples of how people who oppose religion misinterpret the Establishment Clause to separate church and state, when the intent was to prevent the government from hindering the free exercise of religion and the endorsement of one specific sect of religion. Understanding Jefferson's views on religion, he never intended that the recognition of religious practices, traditions, and artifacts be removed from government establishments, and for the most part, the Supreme Court agrees, provided that the items are not overtly religious and displayed on public property. Many disagree, and lawsuits of this nature will continue to go through our courts in an effort to stifle religious freedom currently protected by the First Amendment. It is important as historians that we contribute by establishing the true intent of religious freedoms as described by the founders, and educate future generations on the right of religious freedom, its meaning, and how it applies to us today. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you listening to this video.